Hi, everyone, and welcome to Game 6 of Match 3. Sorry to keep you waiting for so long. I've had marking and various things to do at the university. But yeah, so still in Match 3. As you recall, we're at a very interesting score, right? So um, Black, the leader, is 2 away, and White, the trailer, is 4 away. And all backgammon experts know the importance of this score. This is really the score where it's perfect for the trailer to go for it, right? And send the cube over early and try to gammon the leader and finish the match in one go. Okay. Black generally, like if the cube is early and the threats are not too dire, then the leader will generally take because, basically it's a 2 cube and he only needs 2 points. So, this could be the last game, right? And if the even if your opponent wins the game without a gammon, then it's 5-5, so it's still playable. But yeah, once you throw the cube over, the trailer really has to play in kind of a very gammonish way if possible. Now, unfortunately, I guess I'm not sure whether I forgot or whether I thought I didn't have sufficient threats, but definitely this game taught me, right, that I've got to really, from the very beginning, think about using the cube at the slightest hint of a threat. So anyways, it's a very interesting game, back and forth, and quite exciting. And yeah, let's see what happens at this magical score of 2 away, 4 away. Enjoy. Okay, game 6 of match 3. We are 2 away, 4 away, the magic score, right? So White gets the first roll and makes a point. That's a really good start. And Black, this is really interesting. The correct play is to slot the 5 point. And it's interesting. I would have played just a split like this, 6-2 down. I suppose in a way this kind of keeps down oh boy. Okay, it's 2 away, 4 away. The magic score, and White is fortunate. He wins the first roll and he's able to make a point, the 3 point. So that he's off to a good start. And Black doesn't have an ideal roll, but it's interesting that slotting the 5 point is the correct play here at this score. It's kind of an unusual second roll play. It does reduce the gammon chances somewhat by maintaining the anchor, the defensive anchor on the 24. And, if Black is not hit, then Black has some decent priming chances. But the problem with playing as Black plays is that, this is a pretty strong cube all of a sudden for White. Yeah, so really difficult at the score to play this kind of move, slotting the 5 point, but seems to be best. Interesting. Okay, and yeah, White misses a cube already. It seems like it's early, but at this score, it's not. You can't lose your market. You want to double this and hope, obviously Black is going to take. And if you get a decent sequence, you could very well go on to gammon Black. And so you've got to do it early. And white misses his chance, at least for now. Now, he doesn't hit in the outfield, at least. So he uses the 5 to hit loose and then split his back checker. White hits back. And then it's a little, it's better just to run from the 18, not give white any good 6s. Okay, and playing from 18 to 14 also gives black some control over the outfield, right, from this vantage point, and gives a lot more possibilities of making points here and kind of priming white, now that white is going to have 3 checkers back, right? Okay. So white comes in and hits loose. Black comes in and makes a mistake here in terms of what to hit with. Now, it's not likely that black is going to land the punch-out blow here, right? And so it makes a lot more sense just to keep the spare checker on the 8 point and unstack the 6 point and hit. There's obviously a good chance either way that black is going to get hit and have another checker sent back. But at least in this case, when you hit from the 6 point, you have a better structure, right? You've unstacked your 6 point a little and you still have that spare on the 8. Now, some people might say, yeah, but you're leaving the 6 to hit here. But yeah, there's also a 6 to hit here. So there's a bit of duplication going on. Okay, so yeah, when you're hitting loose, do keep in mind, your structure, and especially if the blitz is not really on, unstacking is better. Okay, and white has a double here as well. Okay, there's still things that could go wrong. There's various double hits. There's possibilities of making the 5 point and having a 3 point board. So, and again, because of the score, right? So white doesn't want to lose his market. It seems strange with 3 checkers back, but white does have the start of a board and maybe he'll be able to make it stronger. Things could then go very wrong for black. So let's turn the cube now and play for the match and try to gammon them. Anyways, with the 5-2, he hits, and then with the 2, basically making that 20 point is key, right? Black rolls nicely and is able to make the 20 point himself. So the position is kind of evening it out. Yeah. White rolls double 4s, and here it's better to have a blocking point. Okay, on the 9 point here, bring 3 down. There's no need to move these especially this back checker up. White is behind in the race, so this move, is more like if you're not behind in the race, right? You're moving checkers up to try to get them around. But with white behind in the race, he should stay back and just block from the 9 point. Okay, black just safeties a checker. Double 2s. So the hit is clear. And then, yeah, just bring 1 down, yeah? White isn't afraid of getting hit in this position. So blots aren't in the outfield aren't a problem. And if white can maybe make a blocking point, right? Maybe the 10 point or the 11 point next move, that would be great to try to contain these 2 checkers, right? White, white's a little behind in the race. After he hits, it's better. Now black will have 3 checkers back. And so you want to try to block them if possible. And black rolls double 2s in turn. Okay, tit for tat. and we get a lot of hits. So black has put 2 checkers on the bar and made a home board point finally. And white dances. Notice that the cube isn't in play anymore because white is, starting to lose, the tide is turning in black's favor, that's for sure. And double fives, wow. Still not an overwhelming advantage. And the key thing, white does have that anchor, right? So he's not going to be overwhelmed anytime soon. But in any case, black's home board is starting to look stronger. Well, he gets 1 checker in, white. 6-1 sends another checker back. No need to really clean up a blot at this point. XG says just to, slot the 7 point to try to block this checker or the other checker if it gets back here. Yeah. And white rolls double 2s again. So lots of double 2s in this game so far. And yeah, white hits loose, right? Counter-attacking, especially with black having a couple of blots in the outfield. And white has a nice reply and forestalls a full attack here on white's part. And white continues hitting. And black brings 1 checker in. So yeah, it's quite a complicated game at this point. So now white is back into the doubling window, which it does look amazing, right? White has 6 checkers back, including 3 on the 2 point, and yet it's a double, right? If white is able to make this point, and pick up maybe another blot, yeah, there's going to be gammon chances. Okay, so let's send it over at this score. But white misses this cube as well. But he does roll double 4s, which is a nice one. And all of a sudden, white's home board is looking very scary. And in fact, it does look like white has actually lost his market if black can't get in. So this is an example where, you can't risk losing your market, right? Because you don't know when a good roll is going to come up. And this is a perfect roll, double 4s. Black dances. And now white is actually too good. But he still doubles. And amazingly, black takes. I guess, it's just, again, 6 checkers back and I can't take. But, you got a checker on the bar and you got 2 more blots, and white's home board is quite strong. And again, it's the score, right? Black doesn't mind white going to 4. There's not a big difference between 3 and 4, right? So just give up the game, let white go to 4, and let's try again. But what a huge error, right? One of the biggest cube errors I've seen in a long time. And it just means that black didn't have a proper understanding of the match score, right? The 2-away, 4-away. And generally, when they're real gammon chances, and notice the gammon chances are approaching 40%, you got to give it up. Okay, and that's okay. 5-4, it's not such a bad score to play from. So yeah, a huge, huge error. Okay. Of course, white is able to hit, so black has 2, and again, black can't get in with the 2 checkers. White picks up another blot. Okay, and starts coming around. Okay, black enters 1 checker. Now it looks like white's main task here is to try to build a prime in front of these checkers, because it's there's not really a blitz going on here, right? And so white is going to try to build a prime, kind of at the edge of the 4 prime here, try to create a 6 prime if possible, or at least a 5 prime. And and that means that these checkers will have to come, and then white will be ready to pick them up and send even more checkers back and increase the gammon chances. So things are looking a bit dire for black. Okay, but 2-1 isn't a great way to do it, But anyways, it's better just to, there's no need at this point to safety a checker. Might as well just play loose and give yourself some flexibility. There's not a huge difference here, but okay, black brings in another checker. And unfortunately, white is still rolling kind of slow. White would like some bigger rolls to be able to build that prime, but it's not looking good. XG just prefers to keep on moving the back checkers, but white wants to get at least one spare checker up to move these back checkers. Black can't get in, and double threes is more like it, And XG prefers just moving one back checker all the way around. Not a big difference though. Okay, finally black gets all his checkers in. And unfortunately, there's no good 3. And it's really sad when you have to, semi-bury a checker like that. But black can't risk having more checkers sent back. Right, 6-5. So, on the one hand, this looks okay. But on the other hand, white does, it makes sense for white to break his anchor. There's no real need to keep that 20-point anchor anymore. So might as well make an outfield point and then bring one checker in. Okay. Right, 6-3. Black decides to play safe, but that's totally wrong. He needs to run out, especially before white has full outfield control. And so running with one checker, giving a direct shot of 4, but that's okay. He has an anchor. But, there aren't that many shots, and he does put some pressure on white's outfield. But yeah, just sitting back and waiting is not the right strategy here. Okay, but white in turn makes a mistake. XG says hit. Go, again, it's increasing the gammon chances, even just a little. That's important here. Yeah. So 2014, 6-1, and see if you can cover. If you can't, then white's going to have not too much trouble getting back in, and then a checker is circulated for the outfield fight, because the outfield's going to be crucial here, right? Black has to try to move these back checkers around the board, and so white really needs, to fight strongly for the outfield. And so, yeah, might as well hit loose. If it gets hit, then that checker will be recirculated into the outfield struggle. Okay, black hits and safeties it, puts a spare on the 6. That's nice. And white comes out. Black is correct to bring a checker out, and he slots his 1. But white is able to hit with a 7. And black is able to hit with a 7. And white can't move. Ouch. But it's still, there's still some serious problems for black here. 6-3, not a lot he can do with that. So he just runs one checker out. This is just too many blots, right? Especially with one blot in the home board. Sorry. One blot in the home board. If white comes in and hits that and black dances, then white has a good chance of picking up more blots, and the gammon chances are just too strong. Okay. White can't move. And black is able to cover the blot. So now black has a 4-point board of his own, even though there are a couple holes in it. And white can't enter. Double ones. Yeah, not the most useful, but double. But in any case, black is able to do it without leaving a blot. White enters. Okay, finally. So he still has quite a large advantage here. And black can't. This is another kind of unfortunate move, and it's just predicated on the fact that black loses the match if he's gammon, so he can't afford to play purely in this position. He's got to bury checkers and play safe. It's really unfortunate. Okay, white comes out again, outfield control. Double twos, okay. Able to get two of the checkers home, closer to home. Mistake by white here is interesting, yeah? I guess the idea is that you want to maintain pressure on these checkers, right? So keep this here. And so this is something that I'm starting to be more aware about, more aware of. Look at black's sort of inflexible position here, okay? You got basically these points. These points are basically the only ones that can move. Black's position, has holes. So might as well maintain some pressure on your opponent. And it's true that it's nice to run and start to get ready to bring your checkers in, but keep the pressure up if your opponent has a weak position, because it would be nice to pick up another blot and increase the gammon chances. Yeah, don't let your opponent play moves, play his position so easily. Maintain the pressure. Okay, black is able to hit, and white stays out again. Okay, and again, safety first, right? So black puts a spare checker on the 6 at least. And white comes in and out. And black misses and brings 2 checkers in. But again, this is really unfortunate, right? Because now any 6 means that black has to leave the anchor, which, white has total outfield control, right? So it's really tough position for black, very dangerous. Okay. Yeah. XG prefers to bring a checker into the 5, but white just decides he wants a spare checker on the 3 to attack if black breaks his anchor. Not a huge difference here. And there's the first 6. But the good news is that black is able to make a 5-point board with this roll. So that gives him a little hope that if white hits loose in some way, that he might be able to hit, and then white might stay out on the 5-point board. Still, it's a bit dire. White hits and black stays out. Oh, sorry. White hits, double hits. Okay. So yeah, I mean, even though black has a 5-point board, this gives white the biggest chance for a gammon, and a gammon wins the match. So you gotta go for it. And you see, any other move is a blunder. Okay. So the double hit is crucial, despite the 5-point home board. And I guess we haven't used it in a long time, right? But I should really use this one now, right? Remember? Oops. So let's do it here. Fear factor, right? It's been a while. I should probably be using this more. Fear factor, okay. I've been playing against some players and they're afraid of this kind of play. Yeah. They're afraid that, okay, yes, but so risky, you know, I should play to win, but not to this extreme. My opponent has a 5-point board. What if I'm hit? Okay. And yeah, you know, you have to try to think about the match position. You have to think about the odds. Okay. Like I said, this gives you by far more gammons. Okay. And also keep in mind, even if you're hit, black has 2 checkers on the bar. Okay. And white just has to enter 1 checker. So that's also something to think about. Okay. And then finally, yeah, black is not the favorite to hit on the 2-point. Okay. And if he doesn't, white has good chances of making a 5-point board or even, you know, like really closing black out and going for the gammon. Okay. It's true the gammon chances aren't that high. They're like 25% or, you know, maybe a third, 30% or something like that if you close 2 checkers out. But still, it's worth it to try to win the match. Okay, and black does stay out. Well, let me clear that. Yeah. And white is able to make the 5-point board and slot the 7-point to prepare for the 6 prime. Black enters 1 checker. And of course, white is going to hit loose here, right? Here, there's just no doubt. It was just a question of what checker to play with a 3. XG prefers bringing another checker down for some reason, but there isn't a big play. And black dances. So, okay, yeah. The gammon rate has gone up to about 40%. Yeah, close to 40%. But white can't quite cover, but he does make the 6 prime. Black hits, which is not necessarily a good thing because black's position could crunch. And white stays out. And black enters, and yeah, he has to play the 4 now, and white stays out. So now white has the possibility of picking up a 3rd checker, which will greatly increase the gammon chances. And black has to leave a blot. And white hits it. So again, yeah, you have to be careful what you wish for. Yeah, black was maybe hoping, oh, please let me get in with both checkers and anchor. I have fewer chances of being gammon, but now black has a 3rd checker back, and the gammon chances are pretty high. Yeah. Okay, black enters, and now it's just a question of white bringing checkers around. Yeah. So let's just go through this quickly, not a big difference in terms of the moves, okay? You can see black's position is crunching, so even if black somehow gets a shot, white is not too worried. White is going to play aggressively to bear off aggressively, with black's position home board being so weak. Okay, double 5s. So not ideal, right? With putting 2 checkers on the 2-point, 2 more checkers on the 2-point, but what else can you do? So, okay, and black's home board is crunching even more. White is able to take off 2 checkers without leaving a blot. Black desperately wants at least 1 6 to get things moving. And yeah, well, this is pretty much forced, right? Okay. Double fives, can't move. Finally, black gets one of the checkers going, okay? No 5 to play, take off the 2. One of the checkers is coming around. Okay, so how close are we now? It's about 50% gammon chances after this roll. 5-1. Okay, black runs. White takes off 2 checkers. 2-2. Okay, it's getting more than 50% now. 6-1, not ideal. And black runs for it correctly. Well, has to, obviously. Okay. Double threes. Ouch. And that seals the deal pretty much. Black did roll something. It wasn't a double 6 or a useful double. And that was it. White wins a gammon. White wins the match. So yeah, you see, this score is an amazing score for the person who is trailing. It gives a really good opportunity to play, really go all out, throw the cube over early and go all out for the gammon because, if you try to play safely and win point by point, you're not the favorite. So if the dice allow you to a certain extent, you've got to take advantage of it. And White was fortunate because he should have lost his market and only gotten 1 point from this, but black took an amazingly bad cube. But White should have doubled earlier, really, much earlier, as you saw. So don't forget about the score, and don't forget, try to think of how you're going to play it, either if you're the person ahead or you're the trailer, okay? If you're the person ahead, then you basically, if it starts to get gammonish, then let go of the game, okay? But if you're the person who's trailing, then look for the first opportunity of a threat to throw the cube over, and then really go all out for the gammon because, you're basically playing for the match at that point. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that match. Quite exciting at the end, quite a back and forth game. And yeah, very, White was quite fortunate that black made this huge cube mistake. Hopefully you won't make that kind of mistake now. Okay. Okay, good luck, and we'll see what match 4 has for us in store. Yeah. Thanks very much.